Hi, my name's Pamm Larry, and I call myself the initial instigator and chief Rabble Rouser for Prop 37 in California, because I was the grandmother from a small town in Northern California that actually started this movement last year in January of 2011. I came up with this plan of attack because I was very depressed about our food system, and I could see the writing on the wall. I was getting depressed. I was feeling helpless and powerless, and actually this just came to me as a block of insight on the morning of January 20th of 2011, that it was my job from that day forward to do everything I possibly could to ensure that the people of California would have the right to invoke their right to vote on something when their elected officials weren't protecting them or doing what they wanted. I had no experience, I had no funding, I had nothing, and I just started. I started by making a plan and getting a website up, and then I literally started driving in my car in March. And I'm still in my car, even after the election, driving between the northern and the southern part of the state, talking to people, rousing the rabble. Eventually people came on board, larger organizations and stuff like that, and that's where we are today with 31 states in this wonderful country all coming together to support each other on a grassroots level to make sure that we have labeling of genetically engineered foods in this country. So I'm here today at the Green Festival in Los Angeles, California, and we just came out of a meeting for a brand new project called GMO Inside. That's GMOinside.org, which is to encourage and support the grassroots to do massive actions around labeling around the country. So it's just getting off the ground. We got to listen to people who had worked on Prop 37, to people who supported Prop 37, their visions about what they'd like to see happen moving forward in a unified way. It's really exciting to see all this energy that's been galvanized after we didn't quite make it at the ballot. That's okay. We were only 4% behind now if you do the rounding, which is amazing considering the amount of money. Over $1 million a day was spent against us. We had no funding to get the advertising out there. The fact that the vote was so close is pretty phenomenal, actually. It's exciting to see what's happening going all over the country. I'm really very excited about Washington State because you guys have I-522. You're gathering signatures right now, and I want to applaud you for taking a strong stand for your right to know. Know that the grassroots are what tipped this in California, and I'm encouraging you to please get involved. When we unite around a common thing, we can make big change. The fact that we had no funding, I mean, we should have lost by so much more, but we didn't because of the people getting out there every day. We had networks of volunteers all around this state. We had leaders. They formed communities. They formed families. They're still together. They're still working strong. And so I would encourage everybody, because everybody's important. It's time for us all to take proactive leadership in this and to not rely on the organizations that have been doing this forever. They need us to support them from behind. And it's through our actions as a unified front that things change. So please get involved. Truth is that I've been having these little impulses to come up and help you guys gather signatures. It's actually pretty easy, but it's about us empowering each other and working with each other to make sure that we get it done what we've done. I know that you could get all your signatures through volunteer efforts with a little bit of coaching, but what I'd like to say is please just get out there and get active. Not only do you affect change, but I've got to tell you, it feels a lot better, because I can tell you that after traveling all around the state of California and now talking to people around the country, a lot of us have been really depressed for a long time, feeling powerless. But when we come together and we actually act, we see the fruits of our labor and we see what we can do. So get involved. We've just come off of Prop 37. It's just been a little over a week and a half now. I'm exhausted and so I'm still trying to find time and space to take a week or so, but I don't think that's going to happen because there's so much wonderful energy going on. 31 states around the country are coming together. We're here to provide support for those people in terms of grassroots organizing, what worked and what didn't, and things that we would have done differently and things that worked really, really well. The future involves staying involved in this issue for me until we have labeling throughout this country, and then who knows what's beyond. People sometimes ask me how it is that we could possibly have lost this, and I'll tell you why. It's because The ag biotech companies, the 6 largest chemical companies and pesticide companies, and then the largest junk food companies on the planet, waged a campaign of deception and outright lies. Their commercials said stuff that was absolutely incorrect. They had mailers where, okay, so for instance, the Democratic Party in the state of California has a plank for label and endorsed Proposition 37. They sent out a mailer to every household in California, or a lot of them anyway, saying that it was from the Democratic Party and would have yes on Obama, no, yes on Prop 30, no on 32, which were the Democratic biggies, but then it said no on 37. They did that. They had another one that went out that made it look like it was from the Green Party who had endorsed us, and people were just confused. They had ads that had outright lies. I could go into a lot of them, and when they weren't outright lying, they were trying to confuse the issue or bring up stuff that actually had nothing to do with the initiative. So what I'm encouraging, and I'm talking to the folks in Washington, is to just be prepared. It's about being preemptive, being totally and educating people up front so that when the lies start, they recognize them. That's where grassroots people come in. This is our power. We can tell each other. We can go out in our communities and we can talk to people so that when the lies and the deception start, and they will start in your state, that the people, the voters, are prepared so that they don't believe the lies, because they'll tell you they're very slick. They had almost $50 million that they spent on this campaign. They bought the best, slick, most strategic messaging they could possibly think of that incorporated twists and lies and deceptions, and they pounded it and pounded it and pounded it on TV, on radio, mailers, and like even the internet, everywhere. I mean, it was very impressive, actually. We had nothing. We could only do ads into the last 10 days because we didn't have any funding. And you know, they were running ads for over a month, okay? So we had 20-something days where we couldn't even respond. But what we were able to do is get out there in our communities again, so that we shifted a lot of the votes that had kind of gone away from us. Like those first couple of weeks, we got really strong at the end there, so that by the time our ads came out, combined with our efforts on the ground, we were able to bring it back around a little bit and only lose by a small margin. But I want to remind people that even though we lost at the ballot, we have won this election, and I'll tell you why. Even when we started this campaign last year on the ground, running around educating our communities, hardly anybody had even heard of a GMO. Now we have the whole country talking about it. We have radio, we have media, we have articles in the New York Times, in Forbes, in Wall Street Journal. We're everywhere now. People all across the country are talking about this, and when we're out on the streets now, it's 10 times more people have at least heard about this and are willing to hear. So my message to all of the folks out there that donated to the No on 37 campaign is that your days are numbered. Labeling is inevitable. It's just a matter of when. And I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in and for watching this program. Hello from California. Go Washington!